Welcome back, businesswomen and businessmen. Today we are on lesson 7 of beginner phrasal verbs. And if you're interested in your own business English classes, please visit masterbusinessenglish.com. All right, let's go ahead and see what are we going to learn in this session. You're going to learn 12 beginner phrasal verbs. So this is perfect for those of you that are looking to improve your vocabulary. Okay, let's go with number 1, to point out. What does that mean? To show, to indicate. Hey, look over there. But instead of saying look over there, point out. To bring one's attention. And this phrasal verb is separable. Let's take a look. What important buildings did the tour guide point out? Look over there. Look at that building. Look at the other building. That's point out. A friend pointed the famous actor out to me. Out of all the actors, that's the one over there. That's pointing out. Now let's take a look at a question because again, we have to practice. That's the important part. Could you please point out exactly what you were talking about? So just imagine you're giving a presentation and maybe somebody's confused. There are many things on the presentation and they ask you this question. Can you please point out exactly what you're talking about? And you're like, oh yes, take a look at this part of the presentation. This is what I'm talking about. So that's point out. Okay, so you can definitely use it in a business situation, especially in a presentation. Okay, number 2, to be up. What does that mean? To expire, to be finished. Let's take a look. The examples are really going to help us out. This idiom is used only with the word time as the subject. Now, there are it's not just time, but it's more in regards to time itself. And you're going to see in the examples, time is up. This is where they're using the word time. Time is up, the teacher said at the end of the test period. Now, in this example, we don't have time. We have a different word. We have to leave the tennis court because our hour is up. Some other people want to use it now. As you can see in that example, that we don't use the word time. We actually use hour, which at the end of the day, it's time. But remember, to be up, it's over. It expired. It's done. Let's look at the question. Could someone check to see if our meeting room time is up? So for those of you that work in big companies, you probably have a lot of meeting rooms and they have a time limit. First, you have to reserve it. And then it's a time limit typically of 1 hour. So maybe you're really focused in the meeting and you don't know if, hey, is the time up? Could someone check to see if the time is up? Because I see people waiting outside. Sometimes there are like these little windows and you can see people waiting with their, laptop and things ready to start the next meeting. So maybe your time is up and you can definitely use this. Okay. Number 3, to be over, to be finished, to end, also to be through. This idiom is used for activities and events. After the dance was over, we all went to a restaurant. So the dance was over and we went to a restaurant. We got to eat. The meeting was through 10 minutes earlier than everyone expected. So the meeting through, over. To be over, right? And the question, when is this conference going to be over? I'm ready to go to lunch. So how do you think you could respond to that? You could say, it's going to be over in 5 minutes, or I don't think it's going to be over soon. You probably should go get some lunch now if you're really hungry. And that is to be over. Number 4, on time. This is a good one because number 5 is also related. And let's take a look at number 4 right now. And then we're going to jump to number 5, which is similar. Exactly at the correct time, punctually. You have to remember exact time. If the meeting starts at 8 or an event starts at an exact time, that's what on time means. I thought that Margaret would arrive late, but she was right on time. So in other words, whatever the time the event was, if it's 3 o'clock, Margaret arrived right on time at 3. Did you get to work on time this morning, or did rush hour delay you? Again, did you arrive to work at the exact correct time, punctually? Not before, but exactly at the same time. That's on time. Wow, you're on time. And the question, should we tell the client that the shipment is not going to arrive on time? Yes, you probably should tell the client that the shipment is not going to arrive on time. So how could you respond? Should we tell the client? Imagine I'm asking you the question. So What do you think? Should we tell the client that the shipment is not going to arrive on time? Yes, we should tell the client that it's not going to arrive on time. Or no, we shouldn't tell the client that it's not going to arrive on time. They never do arrive on time, so they already kind of know. We don't need to tell them. Okay. All right. And here's number 5, in time to, similar to the previous one, before the time necessary to do something. We entered the theater in time to see the beginning of the movie. So think about this. Let's go with the theater example. Well, I typically will arrive in time, not at the exact time, but enough time or the necessary time to do something, which is buy popcorn. All right. I'm not going to watch a movie if I don't eat popcorn. I always make sure I arrive at least 30 minutes before the movie begins. All right. So I arrive in time to buy popcorn. But now let's look at the next example. The truck was not able to stop in time to prevent an accident. So the preventing is what happened before the in time to stop. All right. Not exactly on time. It's in time. And let's take a look at the question. Did you arrive in time to greet the project team? So think about this business situation. When I was in the corporate world, we would have these coffee breaks, and I told everyone, the coffee break is actually going to be before the meeting begins, because they were early. So I would train teachers and they would have to arrive quite early at 8 in the morning. And I would always do the coffee break 15 minutes, 20 minutes before that. So I told the teachers, hey, if you want to get something in your stomach before the training begins, make sure you arrive in time, because that's going to be in the beginning before the training begins at 8 o'clock. So try to arrive there at the latest 7:45 a.m. Okay, that's in time. So did you arrive in time to greet the team project before the presentation begins, before the meeting begins? Maybe say hello to everyone. If you arrive exactly on time, which was number 4, now you're just arriving exactly when they're supposed to begin. All right, and that might not be a good decision. Right? Again, you're on time, but you're not in time to say hello to everyone. Okay, number 6, to get better, to get worse, etc. The definition, to become better, worse, etc. This idiom is only used with adjectives such as any and much. Let's take a look. Heather has been sick for a month, but now she is getting better. I hope the economy doesn't get any worse than it is now. And as we can see in the second example, we have any. I hope the economy doesn't get any worse. So another degree worse, 1%, 2%, etc., worse. I hope it doesn't get any worse. I hope 0, nothing, right? And let's take a look at the question. How much, here we have much. How much worse has the situation gotten lately? So how much worse has the situation gotten lately? How would you respond to this question? Maybe you can say that yes, the situation has gotten much worse. It's the opposite. I say has gotten much worse because it's not a question. Remember, in the question, it's the opposite structure. We put worse first and then gotten after. But in an affirmative statement, in this case, it's gotten a lot worse. Or no, it hasn't gotten a lot worse lately. The situation is still the same. All right. Number 7, to get sick, etc. To get sick, well, tired, busy, even wet, and etc. Many more. This idiom consists of a combination of get and various adjectives. Ilhan got sick last week and has been in bed since that time. Ooh, not a good situation. Every afternoon I get very hungry, so I eat a snack. And as you can see, we have an adjective, very. It describes the intensity of how hungry the person is. Every afternoon I get hungry, or after I work out, I get very hungry. You see the adjective, it emphasizes, it makes it more dramatic, more severe, right? I'm very hungry. I get very hungry. The question is, when was the last time you got sick and couldn't go to work? Well, the last time I got sick was last year. What about you? When was the last time you got sick and couldn't go to work? Number 8, had better, should, ought to, be advisable to. This idiom is most often used in contracted form. I'd better. I'd. That's how we pronounce it. I'd. I think you'd better speak to Mr. White right away about this matter. There it is. I think you'd better. Don't be afraid to repeat. You'd. Go ahead. You'd better. Repeat with me. I think you'd better speak to Mr. White right away about this matter. The doctor told the patient that the doctor told the patient that he'd better go home and rest, right? He'd. We have I'd, you'd, and he'd in the contracted form. Again, what does it mean? Should, ought to, it's advisable to go home. He'd better go home and rest. The question, do you think I'd better take a leadership course because I'm going to be a manager? Well, my response is this. Yes, I think you'd better take a leadership course if you're going to be a manager. Or I think that, yes, you'd better take some business English classes in case you're going to be a leader in the future in your job. Okay, number 9, would rather, prefer to, also would just as soon. Would you rather have the appointment this Friday or next Monday? Depends on the appointment, but let's get the appointment over with. I would rather have it Friday. I would just as soon go for a walk as watch TV right now. So again, prefer to. I would just as soon go for a walk as watch TV right now. So that means, again, prefer to. It might not sound like it makes sense, but that's actually how we say it. I would just as soon, right there, and try to say it a little bit quicker, focus on that fluency. I would just as soon go for a walk as, then they're comparing, right? I would just as soon go for a walk as watch TV right now. So prefer to. All right, let's take a look at the question. How can we apply it at work? Would you rather have a terrible job that pays great or a great job that pays terrible? That's a good question. I don't know which one I'd rather choose, but I'd have to think about it. Would you rather make more money and maybe be miserable, or make a little bit of money and be very happy? Good question, right? Number 10, to call it a day, to call it a night, to stop working for the rest of the day, night. Ian tried to repair his car engine all morning before he called it a day and went fishing. That means stopped working. I'm done for the rest of this day. The next example, we've been working hard on this project all evening. Let's call it a night, because they've been working on the project late in the afternoon. Now it's the evening, 7 o'clock. You know what? It's getting late. Let's call it a night, because it's nighttime, right? Depending on what time of the day it is, that's when you either say, let's call it a day or let's call it a night. So if you're finishing work at 4 or 5, hey, let's call it a day. I think we're done. Okay. And the question is, are you ready to call it a day after working for 8 hours straight? If those 8 hours were solid and you really feel like you worked really well, you progressed, and now you're just too tired to even think, go ahead. Let's call it a day. We're done for the rest of the day. Okay, number 11, to figure out, to solve, to find a solution. This one's separable, and it also can mean to understand, also separable. How long did it take you to figure out the answer to the math problem? It took me a long time. And the second example, I was never able to figure it out. Well, we're not all good at math. I wasn't good at math either. I got good at math when I was in university. But anyways, everybody has a different path, and math is difficult. So I was never able to figure it out. That's the separable one in the second example. The question, can the development team figure it out and resolve this software bug before the product launch deadline? So what do you think? Think about it. Maybe you're in a situation at work and you need to figure out something before a deadline. So what do you think? In this case, do you think the development team will be able to figure it out before the product launch deadline? Let's be hopeful, and yes, they'll be able to figure the problem out. Separable. All right. Don't be afraid to use it. Separable. Number 12, to think of, to have a good or bad opinion of. This idiom is often used in the negative or with adjectives such as much and highly. I don't think much, there's the adjective, I don't think much of him as a baseball player. He's a slow runner and a poor hitter. James thinks highly of his new boss, who is a kind and helpful person. Now the question, what innovative solutions can we think of to reduce our operational costs this quarter? So what solutions can you think of to improve your area at work? I can think of many, or maybe not a lot, but maybe you can think of many. And lastly, let's review. The review is going to be with questions. All right. So we're going to go fast, but don't worry. Practice makes perfect. Number one, can you point out the main issues in this report? So as we can see, point out is the phrasal verb, but in a question format. So let's see if you can respond to that. Can you point out the main issues in this report? Yes, I can. No, I can't. Or long response would be, yes, I can point out the main issues. Number two, when is our time going to be up? Our time is going to be up pretty soon, so we'd better hurry. Number three, when will this project be over? How would you respond? You could say something like this: our project will be over next week, so we must finalize everything. Number four, did the client meeting start on time, right? On the exact hour. Did it start on time? And you could say, yes, it did. No, it didn't. Or yes, the client meeting started on time. Number five, will we finish in time to meet the deadline? I think we will finish in time to meet the deadline. We will definitely finish in time before. Number six, has the team's productivity gotten better since the restructuring? Yes, thank goodness there was a restructuring in the company, because now the productivity has gotten better. So imagine if we had not had the restructuring, maybe the team's productivity would have been the same or worse. Number seven, did anyone get sick during the conference? Well, if it was during COVID, maybe someone did get sick during the conference. I wonder if there were any conference. Did anyone go to a conference during the COVID era? I didn't. You'd better submit your proposal by Friday. And let's work on that pronunciation. It's you'd better submit your proposal by Friday. And don't forget to repeat. That's very important. You got to get that practice in. Number nine, would you rather work remotely or in an office? That's a difficult question. There's pros and cons to both. Number 10, should we call it a day and resume tomorrow? Yes, I think we should call it a day because it's 5 p.m. and we'll continue tomorrow. Number 11, can the team figure out how to optimize this process? Well, we've got the best engineers, so they should be able to figure it out. And number 12, let's see if you can get this response. What strategies can we think of to improve customer retention? I would respond to it like this. I can think of 2 strategies to improve customer retention. Or the negative, I can't think of any strategies right now. So you see, don't be afraid to repeat. Watch the video again. Practice makes perfect. I hope you enjoyed it, businesswomen and businessmen. This was lesson 7 of beginner phrasal verbs. And don't forget, visit masterbusinessenglish.com if you want your free business English analysis. We'll check what areas you need to improve and make an action plan to accomplish your objectives to get better. All right, get better at that business English. All right, so I'll see everyone later. Bye-bye.